Hi there, students. This is one of those exercises where you need to read two texts and then write a summary of the two in your own words. So I'm going to read you the texts first. Music is something that we perhaps take for granted in our daily lives, particularly when it exists in the form of background music in public places or advertising jingles. And with the huge availability of downloadable music, we now have ready access to whatever we desire. However, do we as a society take music as seriously as we should? Professional musicians are highly skilled individuals, yet many of them struggle to find regular work and their talent is seldom recognised. In most countries, they receive no state support and many are forced to abandon a career in music altogether. What a waste. Text 2. Music has been downgraded in importance in our schools and is often the first subject to be withdrawn from the curriculum, with more and more emphasis placed on core subjects. Yet, research has shown that those who learn music from a young age benefit in different ways. Music lessons are creative and engage children in a collaborative activity that has a real outcome. Even if parents are reluctant to contribute additional funding for instruments, they will usually come to see their offspring perform in the school concert. Let's give music back the status it deserves in education. Okay, essay. Status of music in society. Write an essay summarising and evaluating the key points from both texts. Use your own words throughout as far as possible and include your own ideas in your answer. You should write 240 to 280 words. So here we go. The texts consider the importance of music in society currently. That sounds fine. Both texts identify the scarce importance that music and, as a consequence, musicians are given presently, albeit found everywhere. Mind you, music pervades most areas of our life. Okay, so the text consider the importance of music in society currently. That's perfectly fine. Now, this next sentence, you've been very ambitious, and I really like what you're trying to do. The problem is, I think you've probably gone a step too far with this, albeit found everywhere, because it's difficult to know what this albeit found everywhere is referring to. Clearly it's referring to music, but both texts identify the scarce importance of music. And as a consequence, musicians are given given presently. And as a consequence, musicians are given, albeit found everywhere. But are the musicians found everywhere? Okay, first thing I'd like to do with this, scarce importance is good. I think scant importance sounds much better. And I looked at this sentence, I've fought with it for quite a while. So let's see, this is what I've actually done with it. So let's try it from here. Both texts identify the scant importance presently held by music. And consequently, the other problem with this is getting the punctuation right. And consequently, comma, by musicians, albeit both are present everywhere in our society. Let me read that sentence again. Both texts identify the scant importance presently held by music, and consequently by musicians, albeit both are present everywhere in society. Mind you, music pervades most areas of our life. I feel this "find you" is a little bit lacking in formality. So I think maybe something like "furthermore" this attitude is strange. Furthermore, this attitude is strange, as music pervades most areas of our life. The first text suggests that people tend to regard music as something essential in our lives, to which we have a right. That's very nice. In fact, professional musicians are admired as talented experts. However, most of them have serious difficulties in finding a stable job. A very nice sentence. Okay, I was going to furthermore. I'm going to put moreover here. Furthermore, in spite of being highly considered, they are not subsided. No. To subside is to sink. They're not subsidised by the government, as funding them is thought about as a waste, is thought to be a waste, and I'm going to put of money. The consequence of this is that many of them quit the profession. The second text raises the issue, I like this phrase, raises the issue, of the importance of music as a subject at schools. Music as a subject is not highly considered, although its practice is beneficial for those who start at a young age. It's practice. You're translating from Spanish here. It's practice. Although participation, it's practice. Although participation. Be careful of practice, because practice is to make perfect. Although participation is beneficial for those who started at a young age. Music engages students in collaborative tasks, which are proved to be beneficial from them. I would prefer a present perfect here, which have been proved to be beneficial for them. Music is belittled to the point that it is the first subject omitted from the curriculum, if necessary, in favour of core subjects. As far as parents are concerned, they would not readily accept to pay extra charges for music instruments. As far as parents are concerned, they would not readily accept payment of extra charges for musical instruments. Nevertheless, they would be very proud if their children played in, I think without the, in school concerts. No one would dispute what a good companion to special moments, either good or bad, music is, or how some of our dearest memories are related to music. Very nice. When we listen to that music again, it triggers some memories and we live those moments again. When we listen to, I'm going to change here, then when we listen to that piece of music again, it triggers it triggers memories, and we relive those moments. That means that we need music. At the same time, not anyone can be a musician. It demands long hours of training and talent to become a professional. Weighted this against the actual position and respect for most musicians in society, it is surprising that only the lucky few can earn their living through music. Okay, this weighted this against. Let's see, weighting is the importance that something is given. So, as a teacher of English, I give a higher weighting to being able to communicate well than being exactly correct. So weighted against this. I think weighed against this, contrast. Okay, let's do it differently. This should be weighed against the actual position and respect most musicians hold in society. This should be weighted against the actual position and respect most musicians hold in society. That's a full sentence. Semicolon. It is surprising that this should be weighted against the actual position and respect most positions hold in society. No. Comma. So it is surprising that only the lucky few can earn their living through music. In summary, music and musicians should be given the place they deserve in our society, and that begins with a good education at early stages. I like the way you've summed this up at the end and said education is the key. Okay, this is a very good essay. Yes, there are some mistakes, but I don't think they're serious. This first sentence, you've tried to do something very ambitious, and I like it when students try to do ambitious things, because that's the way to learn. And then there are large tracts of it where there are very few corrections. I like the way it holds together. It's very cohesive. You've got lots of things like this in summary, consequently, furthermore, at the same time, and that is very good. I think your vocabulary, the use of vocabulary, is good. Is very good as well. Perhaps this one right at the beginning, what was it, I can't remember it, well, so I think I'm going to give it, what am I going to give it, at C2 I think I'm going to give this probably a B at level C2. So well done, a good essay. Thank you very much, and bye.